Will Behren Morton play out in Tempe against Arizona State? It's going to be a game time decision. In today's video, we'll discuss what that means for the Texas Tech offense. The Pete Nakos reporting, hey, this is going to come down to the wire for Behren Morton and much more. Let's get to it. Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's RC Maxfield here for the Red and Black Report. Appreciate y'all tuning in to today's video. And hopefully by the time y'all hear this, we'll have 13,000 subs. Really means the world to me that y'all tune in to me yapping about Texas Tech athletics, as I always describe it to my wife. So sincerely, thank you guys for tuning in. And if you haven't already, join the RBR squad by simply liking the video and hitting that subscribe button for 100% free Texas Tech football and men's basketball content. All right, let's jump into the Pete Nakos update. Texas Tech quarterback Behren Morton will be listed as questionable again tonight. I am recording this on Friday, October 17th, the morning of seeing this report. Y'all will have it right out away on the channel, and nobody else is doing that on YouTube. Just another reason to subscribe. The Red Raiders are set to make a game-time decision with Behren Morton. Sources tell On3 Sports has made good progress this week. If Morton can't go, backup Will Hammond would get the start. No surprise here. And honestly, if you go back and listen to the game preview here on the channel, I said that this probably was going to come down to a game time decision in terms of Behren Morton starting in this football game. Now, I would love to see Behren out in this because I'm kind of at the point now where I just feel bad for bro. It feels like every time he starts to get into a rhythm and really start to show off some of that high stature in terms of that 4-star, top 100, top 75 player that he was in terms of his high school recruiting class, right? There's an injury, and it's unfortunate, right? But he's a true difference maker at the quarterback position for the Red Raiders when he is on the field. It sounds like they're going to put him through a pregame routine, see if that calf holds up. Again, it's the same injury that he had, according to Joey McGuire, after the UAPB game earlier this year, this time with less swelling. It is encouraging to hear that he has progressed well this week, according to the Pete Nakos update, but we'll see how it goes. I mean, I'll tell you this right now. I don't feel any worse about Will Hammond potentially starting for the Red Raiders. That being said, I do think the offense would look a little bit different. Reason being, right now as it stands, I don't think anybody in their right mind can currently say that Will Hammond is a better passer than Behren Morton. Full stop. I don't think anybody can, okay? Behren Morton is one of the elite passers in all of college football. I understand your opinions of him in terms of the injury side of things, but when he's on the field, he makes this offense look different in terms of the passing game compared to Will Hammond. That's not a knock on Will Hammond. Will Hammond brings other factors into the offense that I think help Texas Tech potentially win football games, most notably the run game. I mean, you saw what he did to that Kansas defender at the goal line, sending him into orbit damn near with how hard he lowered his shoulder into that man's chest. I mean, legitimately, I heard NASA actually picked it up on one of their radar systems. Don't fact check me on that. That being said, what would the Texas Tech offense look like if Behren Morton was unable to go compared to if Will Hammond was at the helm? I think we saw a lot of it in the Utah game, and I think that was like, Will Hammond was hooping, right? Like he was on one that day, and rightfully so. I think that's what Will Hammond can do more oftentimes than not. I am interested to see if Behren Morton isn't able to go. Does Texas Tech lean on the run game a little bit more? I would tend to lean yes in that regard, but I really think Texas Tech can capitalize on getting the ball downfield against this Arizona State Sun Devil secondary. This is a game where we talked about it in the preview as well, where I think Reggie Virgil and Caleb Payday Douglas can really push the envelope on downfield vertical passes by either Will Hammond or Behren Morton, depending on who starts. We'll find out. I still think it's going to be Behren, but we'll see how that goes. Okay, it's truly a game time decision. Either or at the quarterback position, though, needs to push the ball downfield because I think this could be one of those games where if you stretch that Arizona State defense, I don't think they have an answer. Okay, so I would expect Texas Tech to really push the envelope, and that's something that Mac Leftwich loves to do offensively, is stretch the defense, and that opens the intermediate and short game passing attack, let alone the run game that Texas Tech had last week, against Kansas, 300-plus yards rushing. Cam Dickey had one of the greatest performances a Red Raider running back has ever had. Do I expect that out in Tempe? No, I don't. But I do think that there are pretty sizable differences in terms of what Texas Tech does offensively with Behren Morton at quarterback compared to Will Hammond, specifically in the passing game. Not saying Will Hammond can't make some of those throws that Behren Morton can, but I do think that it is fewer and far between in terms of the success rate, specifically down the field. That being said, I have all the confidence in the world that Will Hammond can go to Arizona State and win this football game if he is indeed the starter for the Red Raiders, because I think you're going to see more of that run game. You're going to see more RPO, play action type sets, and maybe that's where Mac Leftwich goes in terms of stretching that defense where he collapses it, right? And that stretches the intermediate and, well, longer aspects of the secondary for Arizona State, where you do the play action stuff that creeps the linebackers in, and that 15 to 20-yard range is wide open for passes for Will Hammond to either Reggie Virgil, Caleb Payday Douglas, Coy Aiken, right? TCJ, right? There's so many options, but I do think that Texas Tech is going to have to change things a little bit, not a ton, but I do think that there would be obviously more runs because Will Hammond can run it himself. I also think this too. When you look at what Arizona State does well, and we're going to flip to the offensive side because Sam Leavitt is now probable for the Sun Devils, and that's really not a surprise or anything. I think this could be one of those games where Will Hammond, he's proven that he can do a lot of things. The offense doesn't have to change a whole lot, but say he is the starter and he's just off his game a little bit, this could be a defensive game for Texas Tech, and the Red Raiders just enforce their will on the ground in the RPO type game. And I see nothing wrong with that. I think Texas Tech can win with either or of Behren Morton and Will Hammond, but I am very interested to see who does start in this game, because is this indicative of a longer-term injury for Behren Morton? I don't think it is. I think you need Behren Morton to reach your ceiling. I have said that multiple times here on the channel. I think Will Hammond gives you more options on an offense, right, because of his legs, but I think Behren Morton is the guy that gets Tech to their ceiling offensively and as a whole team. Because I think he is a guy that if you go into a college football playoff type situation, he is the type of guy that can really open things up and really make a secondary have to respect the passing game a lot more than Will Hammond. And that's just because Will Hammond hasn't played much right now. And I think he's going to be a phenomenal player. He already is. But Behren Morton really makes it difficult for defenses to both respect the offensive aspect of things in terms of the offensive line and what they do rushing the football, and the vertical passing game. You have to pick almost at that point with Behren Morton. That being said, according to Pete Nakos, let's get it on your screen one more time. Behren Morton will be listed as questionable again tonight, and the Red Raiders are set to make a game day decision. So game day decision, game time decision, it's, one of the same at that point. He has made good progress this week. If Morton can't go, backup Will Hammond would get the start out in Tempe. And again, have all the confidence in the world that Will Hammond could go win you a football game out in Tempe, Arizona against the Arizona State Sun Devils, who I think view this game as this is a make or break game for the Sun Devils. Truly it is, because if you have 2 losses in the Big 12, I don't know if you're making it to Arlington, because Texas Tech is in a really good spot to potentially go undefeated in the league. Obviously, they have to handle business, but they're in a really good spot, are the Red Raiders, to potentially go undefeated. They are going to be favorites in every game moving forward. Obviously, they have to live up to that end of the bargain, and maybe, you have Behren Morton. Maybe you don't. We shall see tomorrow. But, again, appreciate y'all tuning in. Sincerely to all 13,000 of y'all that have subscribed here on the channel. Seriously, from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys for tuning in to me yap about Texas Tech football. I love it just as much as you guys do. I hope that passion is easily seen and heard through these videos here on the channel. And if you want to stay in the know on all things Texas Tech football and men's basketball, we'll be having a Texas Tech men's basketball season preview video here on the channel in, well, just a few days, actually. Going to record that later this weekend. This is the place for you. You want to stay on the know on the gridiron, hardwood, portal, high school recruiting, injury news, anything in between. We've got you covered right here on the largest group of Texas Tech fans on YouTube and the Red and Black Report. 13,000 strong, man. Unbelievable. Appreciate y'all again. I'm RC Maxfield reminding you, as always, stay safe and Reckham Tech.